Welcome to Alternative Health. I'm Valerie Saxon, your naturopathic doctor from Fort Worth, Texas. Today I'm going to be talking to you about what might be eating you for lunch, eating you for dinner, and causing you all kinds of ailments, health problems, discomfort, disorders, and who knows what else. Yes, we are talking about parasites. You've heard me talk about it before, I'm sure, and some people even call me the parasite lady, that lady that talks about worms and whatever, detox lady. People call me all kinds of things. Mostly good, thank the good Lord. But anyway, saying all that to say, I've had some new research that I've heard just recently, and I wanted to bring it to mind. I wanted to bring it to your attention. And even though I haven't done any shows recently on parasites, I gotta tell you, I still get wonderful little critters sent to me. I still get all kinds of questions, all kinds of comments, and testimonials about people doing parasite cleanses. And that's because, as I've said so many times, if you're alive, you're at risk. Now, on to newest information coming out recently, and that is that a medical research said that according to various clinical studies, the second leading root cause of cancer is parasites. And it doesn't, it can manifest itself in many different ways. And, as we've talked about before, wherever the weakest link is in your body is typically where you're going to have an issue. But if you have parasites within your body that are eating your nutrients, thriving off of you and all of the wonderful supplements and so forth that you're taking, then guess what? It's going to leave you depleted and exposed. And that could be in your immune system. It will leave you compromised in some way, whether that's just various, kind of those miscellaneous gut issues that you're never able to really pinpoint. And I can't tell you how many of those types of testimonies that I've heard, those types of problems, questions, where people will come into the office or send an email and they say, I've got this issue, that issue, and all these little problems, the big, small, in between, that can never really nail it, never really get down to why they are so symptomatic for all of these other disorders. So, the best place to start, and for so many years, one of the first places I ever start, if somebody's really just launching into, I want to be healthy, I want to, start anew, I want to make those resolutions, whatever it may be, I say, you need to cleanse. You need to make sure that you do a good, thorough cleanse. And reason being is that if you do have a lot of parasites, and if you never cleanse, especially if you have animals, if you eat pork, many things like that, then you're going to be more prone to have parasites. But hey, here's the numbers. 85%, according to the Walter Reed Army Institute, 85% of Americans, not third world country, not somebody who went on a missions trip, but 85% of Americans have parasites. Well, guess what? I've passed them, my kids have passed them, my animals have passed them, So, yeah, because a parasite can't live on its own. It has to live within you or within me, one of our kids, one of our animals, and thrive off of it. So if you've never done a cleanse, you need to start with a cleanse, because you may be taking all kinds of extra nutrients and then wonder why it's just not working. Well, maybe it's not the brand that you're taking, but maybe it's because you have something on the inside of you that's getting all the good stuff, that's getting those powerful nutrients that are much needed for you before you are physically and mentally and spiritually even able to utilize them within your body. So it's a great place to start by cleansing. I'm kind of going backwards here, but I just want to get into this a little bit because so many of you have heard me talk about parasites over the years. And that is that if you go to do a cleanse, make sure that you do it for really a minimum of 60 days up to 90 days. And the reason I say that is because these parasites lay eggs. In fact, I'm going to read one study to you in just a minute. But roundworms can lay anywhere from 150,000 to 200,000 eggs a day. A day. The mature female roundworm, just disgusting to say it, can lay up to 200,000 eggs a day. Well, guess what? I guarantee some of those are female roundworms, and they're going to do the very same thing. They multiply very quickly. So, wonder what all those parasite symptoms might be. And there's all kinds of parasites. There's over 150,000 different parasites that are known to get in the human body, okay? But there are only a few that they're actually test for. Medical tests, blood tests, stool samples is usually the doctors give you a little kit. They want you to take it home, and when you go to the bathroom, they want you to get a stool sample, put it in this little kit, bring it back, mail it off to the lab, whatever. And that, there are a few that are tested for that are the most common. But there are over 150,000. Now, if you eat healthy, and I attempt to the majority of the time, it doesn't mean that you're not going to be exposed, because you can be exposed through even organic meats. In fact, one of the worst cases ever recorded was in Florida not too many years ago of people eating organic raspberries, and many were actually hospitalized. These raspberries were brought in from another country that were organic. They didn't have any chemicals on them, but they had been watered with sewage water, recycled sewage water. Yeah, that's just gross. There were actually recorded over 1,000 people that were infected with cryptosporidium. I actually have some cryptosporidium little samples that people have sent me that I'm going to be showing you in just a couple of minutes. Now, let's talk about quickly the most common type of parasite, which is more common in cat owners. And in fact, studies show that at least 50% of people that own cats, which is me, yeah, I have a big old cat that's half bobcat, and that cat is huge and wants to eat all the time and is just, mammoth. But yeah, 50% of cats have roundworms. 50%. Now that's huge. Now a lot of people let their cats and dogs and so forth sleep with them and all kinds of stuff. I love my animals. I really, really do. But yeah, I don't want to be sleeping with them. And really, you shouldn't either unless you're doing a cleanse with them at the same time. And if you're cleansing your animals, you ought to be cleansing yourself at the same time, and vice versa. And your kids and the whole family doing it at the whole same time. Okay, so roundworms, the most common. Roundworms are any one of a large group of worms, intestinal parasites, having an unsegmented round body which tapers at both ends. Some of the largest roundworms are 6 to 12 inches long. The mature female, as I said, roundworm can produce an estimated 200,000 eggs daily, and their natural habitat is in the human body in the small intestines. Now, that's just gross. But here's a picture. Now, this picture is actually a real roundworm that someone sent in to me. They actually sent the worm, and I had a photographer take these pictures. He wasn't real thrilled. He was actually a forensic photographer, so he took pictures of dead people and crime scenes and all kinds of stuff, and he was fine until he saw the pictures of the worms, and all of a sudden he was just kind of losing. He was like, yeah, I do other things, I don't do worms, which to me is amazing that somebody could deal with the kind of things that he does but doesn't like the worms. So this is a picture of a roundworm. It was dead, thank the good Lord, that someone sent in that they had passed, after doing a parasite cleanse, that they had passed out of their body.